All right, everybody, we are on for another discussion. This is Tom joining us again, and Arcturus here. We'll be talking about a user-submitted topic. It was brought up to us a while back on our main page, on the Facebook page, the Dragon Ball Breakdown page. If you've not liked it, it's DB Breakdown, facebook.com/DB Breakdown. Our buddy Mitchell Boyd suggested this idea, and I thought it was really fascinating. It was, what if Android 16 killed Imperfect Cell? How would that change everything? How would it affect the canon? And what would happen in a universe where Cell was killed by 16? I have again here, buddy here, Tom, and he'll be giving his insight into the matter. So I suppose let's get things kicked off with what would change. I guess we'll start with you, Tom. What do you think would happen if 16 managed to wipe out Imperfect Cell?
I think Gohan would have gone to school. Goku would have possibly continued to train. I don't really know. As for everyone else, they would have, lived their lives and everything. Probably until like Boo gets there. But I don't know how it would affect the canon though, because Cell's like a huge, huge threat, and him being busted by 16. Yeah, it's gonna put a tough part in the story.
Well, first off, it's difficult to gauge these things because you have to figure out the reasoning behind Gohan becoming Super Saiyan 2. Was that purely motivation? And also, without Gohan going Super Saiyan 2, would that mean that Vegeta and Goku would know there wouldn't be a level beyond Super Saiyan? And I don't mean, the in-between 1.5
Yeah,
levels.
I get you.
More about 2 and 3. Goku wouldn't be dead. That's first off, Goku would still be alive. So we would most likely see Goten with a father. Makes you wonder if he would have hands-on training with his dad, a la Vegeta. Which another thing comes to mind too. If Vegeta was training his son constantly, at least he was training with him in the gravity chamber. We don't see him teaching him techniques, but it is implied that Vegeta did work with his son. But Goten didn't have that luxury. He had a little bit of training with Gohan, and Chi-Chi taught him, and Chi-Chi's a little low on the totem pole in terms of martial artists in the DBZ universe. So would that then make Goten very strong? Would that make him surpass Trunks? And makes you wonder how Vegeta would handle this. So let's see the major events that would be changed. First off, 17 and 18 would not be absorbed. And without Cell there to make this unifying enemy that everyone banded against, I think 17 and 18 would still be seen as enemies, as villains. So first off, the heroes would most likely try to kill 17 and 18. But you can also wager that because of this big threat, Imperfect Cell showing up, would that kind of, I don't know, temper 17 and 18's stance, seeing as how the heroes worked alongside them to get rid of Cell. At least Piccolo did briefly before he got, messed up by him. So at this point, though, we had Ascended Super Saiyan Vegeta. He would have been already training with Trunks. So they would show up, and it makes you wonder what Vegeta's first move would be. Seeing as how Android 16 would have been the strongest opponent in the known universe at that point, would Vegeta go after 16? One thing I found kind of funny was after the events of Cell happened, Vegeta didn't really get revenge for his arm being broken and getting humiliated by a woman. However, he didn't get slapped around. He didn't get nearly as humiliated with Goku. So upon noticing that, I always was confused as to Android 18 beat him senseless, like disrespected him, made light of him and his heritage, while Goku fought him pretty much on fair terms and gave him the respect of a warrior. So would Vegeta go for revenge? And if that's the case, would that end the lineage of Krillin's family? Because he would never have gotten with 18. My wager is most likely yes. And since there was no one aside from Trunks to defend 18, and it's not like Trunks is going to be the first person to defend 18 anyways. Um, it's I think 18 would be destroyed. I think 17 would be destroyed. I have a feeling that the androids in general would be gone. Because again, there's no one in the Z Warriors that would stop Vegeta. When looking at the androids, if anything, Trunks is actually a little more aggressive towards them than even Vegeta, because he lived through their tyranny for decades. So they would just want to eradicate them, and there'd be no one to stop them, and there'd be no one for them to focus their efforts on to ally themselves with the androids. So they would all be gone. The big question after that would again be motivation. Would Gohan have the motivation to become a Super Saiyan 2? Would Goku have that motivation? Would Vegeta have that motivation? And if not, what would happen when Buu showed up? But when Buu shows up, that doesn't mean they're going to die. Because again, as Goku pointed out, Deborah would have given them trouble in the Cell Saga. However, he wouldn't have been someone that would have wiped them out. I always viewed Deborah as someone who was like maybe suppressed Perfect Cell. I never viewed him as someone on par with like Super Perfect or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and that's a whole other episode. But I staunchly oppose the idea that Gohan was anything beyond Mastered Super Saiyan or Full Power Super Saiyan, whatever you like to call it. He was not Super Saiyan 2 against Deborah. There was no evidence to show that. In terms of the plot, in terms of the animation, it doesn't make sense. So Deborah would be the toughest opponent. However, because he would be more of a threat, I think Goku and Vegeta would not just let Gohan fight him on his own. And I think lastly, on this point, because Goku still lived, would that then mean that Gohan had someone to train with, and would that mean that Goku would push him or help push him with his influence to reach higher levels? So would Buu be stopped altogether as well? You also have to worry about the butterfly effect, but removing that and looking at the series linearly, would they have more motivation or would they have less motivation? That's really my big thought about the whole scenario.
I think they would. I think they would probably have more motivation to do so.
Would it be, let's see, we got a comment from Justin
Okay.
Batek Batek, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce it right, buddy. One of the admins in our group, he says, dude, they would be so weak by the time Buu showed up. Goku probably wouldn't find Super Saiyan 3. Gohan wouldn't be useful at all, and essentially Buu would just eat everyone. I don't think so. Stopping Buu from happening in the first place is not a case of overpowering Buu. It's a case of preventing Babidi from getting his goals, from reaching his goals. Dragon Ball Multiverse, they did a good take on that, because they went into the future Gohan storyline, like what happened when they show up in his universe. And in that universe, he got immensely lucky, because it's the only way he could have won. But to stop Buu from happening, don't forget, they needed the energy. So if Deborah is like low-level Master Super Saiyan, do you really think Goku's not going to want to go in the time chamber? Like, Vegeta would insist that Goku went in, and I know he would go in, because his opponent would not be Cell anymore. His opponent would be Vegeta, someone he's going to keep up with, somebody's going to want to defeat and surpass. So he's going to learn Master Super Saiyan. And so
Yeah.
if he learns Master Super Saiyan, he would be a match, if not more than a match, for Deborah. And if they manage to, because in order to revive Buu, you need the power of 2 Super Saiyan 2s to accomplish this. So if they didn't reach Super Saiyan 2, that actually makes less of a chance that Buu could arrive. Like, a good deal less. So they would have the tools to prevent Buu. And even if they didn't, they would have the support of the Kais. And that means that you would have the Elder Kai unlock ability. And if that's the case, it's not just open to Gohan. It's open to anybody else. You're right. And if it's that desperate of a circumstance, and they managed to survive the initial onslaught. Can you imagine? Mystic Goku would be pretty impressive, although I still have him under Mystic Gohan due to the whole half-breed potential logic that they can't seem to make their minds up on. But Mystic Gohan wipes out any form of Buu that does not include absorption. It
Oh yeah.
crushes. So the way I view it is, I guess if we're looking positively, optimistically, I think that Buu won't be a problem. I think Buu will be a scare, but the heroes let Buu happen because Goku and Vegeta were so far beyond what people expected them to be. So they just took him lightly. And so during the Majin Vegeta Goku battle, they just duked it out, and didn't take him seriously. If they were weaker, though, and they saw Deborah was such a threat to them, and then Buu shows up, they won't even let him do it. They would not let that happen in the first place. Furthermore, if Deborah, he can't spit on all of his foes because he can't get the damage energy from them. I think he did that to Piccolo, Kibito, and Krillin, because those guys weren't really sources of energy to him. I don't know why he did it to Gohan, because it's clear that if he does it, that he can't get energy from them. Maybe he assumed that he'd still get enough from the other guys. I don't know. But it just, if you really think about it, like, why would you kill the sources of energy you had? But maybe he thought that he could get the energy from Supreme Kai. Preventing Cell is something different than preventing Babidi from winning. Preventing Cell requires you to prevent the androids from being absorbed. Preventing Babidi means if you're too weak, then they can't get Buu. If you're too strong, then Buu might be easy. You got to get that pocket. They were perfectly strong enough, perfectly weak enough for them to be able to unlock Buu. Because imagine if they were like Mystic Gohan levels by the time Buu showed up. No threat.
Oh,
You just wipe
wow.
him out.
That'd be horrifying.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Justin's using the little meme thing here. Yeah, he's saying you get a Mr. Power Up. You get a Mr. Power Up. Everyone gets a Mr. Power Up. Yeah, exactly. He said this is thought when I said it. Yeah. It makes you wonder why they never utilized that. It was a plot device, but especially after Battle of Gods, because again, Akira Toriyama, he doesn't make his mind up.
No.
He doesn't. When it comes to potential, like when it comes to Saiyan and half Saiyan potential, initially, for the most part, up until like Cell, half breeds were dangerous, and then over the course of the last decade or so in their timeline, the full breeds are more powerful in terms of potential. So if that's the case, I mean, the Elder Kai unlock ability, you don't know if it's going to make a weaker character or a stronger character. Because again, Gohan's potential was like his plot point for years, and now Battle of God shows up, and it's like, oh well, we changed our minds.
Basically.
It's the full Saiyans, yeah. So I love the series of death, but it is notorious for making up things on potential. I'm going to see if we can get a buddy here to join us.
Okay.
Patrick Kavanaugh might be able to join us. He's got a good mic. Last time I checked, he unfortunately could not take part in the last discussion he was supposed to be on. Things come up, but I really wanted to get on the show. That being said, how would you think they would handle Boo?
I think they would stop they would have to start with the tournament, because that's where it all started. Like with Spopovich and Yamu, like when they had that energy tank and they were just gathering energy from everybody. I think they would start there first. But then there's Kibito Kai. I don't know how they would start with him, because they didn't even know who he was at first, and he wouldn't talk until Gohan shows up, and he's like, "Dude, tell me what's going on, because my girlfriend just got beat up by this guy, and I don't know what to do."
Yeah. It makes you wonder too just how powerful the Supreme Kais were. My guess, just ballparking, how tough Supreme Kai is, just based on who he intimidated, who he hung on against, all that good junk. I'm guessing that he's somewhere between suppressed Perfect Cell and full power Perfect Cell. Not super perfect, because super perfect's like arguably Super Saiyan 2, but that's another discussion for another time. But I would say he's suppressed to full power, somewhere in there. Um, I have no idea. Okay, to kind of go on another aside here, I don't understand how all these Supreme Kais, they all seem to they just were not paying attention during the Cell Saga. Like, none of them.
No.
Beerus, Whis, Supreme Kai, they weren't paying attention during that entire saga. But when Boo shows up, some of them do. But apparently Beerus was like, no big deal. Yeah, no big deal. The dude is killing your coworkers. I don't get that. Hey, Basher's on. It's that's just lazy writing. I'm sure that's what it is. But I'm just trying to rationalize why in the world would Supreme Kai freak out about Pui Pui and, not notice that Cell is like flaunting that he could blow up and destroy solar systems. It's just a weird, unaddressed plot point. I don't know. It just the Supreme Kai in general. We don't know how tough he is. My guess is like maybe Mastered Super Saiyan Goku level, but even that, maybe.
What about when Goku, transported Cell to King Kai's planet and blows up himself in King Kai?
That's right.
I thought they would at least notice that.
That's right. That's right. He self-destructs, and no one notices. It destroys an entire planet. The kind of thing that Beerus visits, and Whis visits, all that junk. That was kind of lame. I don't want to. I mean, we can go on and on with plot points. So for this one, also the next point to make about this, Hercule was a successful celebrity, but before he defeated, or quote unquote defeated, Cell. What would happen to Mr. Satan's legacy without Cell? And if that's the case, would there even be a Videl? And would there be, as a result, would there be no Pan? And if that's the case, now we're getting into another big point, since now let's fast forward past the theoretical Buu saga, and let's look into what happens to the Son Goku family, the lineage here. So once you get into post-Buu, now we have to get to Super Saiyan God. And without Pan, it's still plausible, but what would happen if Beerus showed up? And it makes you wonder, was he going to make good on his threats to destroy the planet, or was he just trying to scare Super Saiyan God into showing up? I'm guessing, my guess is, it's difficult to read Beerus. You could argue that he just doesn't. Just that one planet's not a big deal to him, or you could argue what I just brought up. Tarble could be used to. Here's the thing. Okay, this is a good way to solve Battle of Gods. You can tell they weren't thinking. All right, the dragon gives 2 wishes, right? So he gives 2 wishes, and they completely forgot that in the movie. Here's how it would go down without Pan. All right, here's how you get Super Saiyan God without Pan. All right, wish number 1. How do we achieve Super Saiyan God? All right, tells you how to do it. Wish number 2. Wish for Tarble to appear. And now you have your 6th Saiyan. You're done. That's it. And you're okay now. Problem solved. Who needs Pan? And another thing, too, and this is, again, plot point, they had to retcon this. Because Daizenshu argues that Bulla is a year older than Pan. So it's like, really? So you have Pan's a half Saiyan running around, but you got to rely on a quarter Saiyan to make this happen. Whatever. So, yeah, Tarble would have been nice. So it could happen. You could still get Super Saiyan God, and then once you get to Super Saiyan God, everything else is kind of moot, because it kind of would equal it from the looks of it. It would equalize Goku's power level to the level he's at now, which is one of the things I kind of don't like about God level stuff. Because it's like all the work Goku put in is just kind of moot.
Yeah.
Like, Android Saga Goku could do the same things that Battle of Gods Goku could do post, God powers, because they work differently than Ki. So to be honest, as long as you can get to the God ritual, the canon's gonna be pretty much okay. And they're gonna survive as long as you can get past Boo. And again, getting past Boo is just outwitting Bobbity. And if you noticed, he's kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
Trying to get, we might be getting another guest in here. We got some more comments in here. Really? Justin says that that Shenron grants 3 wishes in Fusion Reborn. I thought he granted the 2, but maybe I'll have to double check that one. I thought it was 2. Um, let's see.
Maybe it's 2 for Planet Namek.
Roomgood does, but I mean, again, the movies are. I really am annoyed that Battle of Gods was stated to be canon, like because it throws everything into whack. It's got almost as many plot holes in it than GT did in one movie. But I'm sure you're getting ready for that debate next month.
Oh yeah.
Because Wes is quite prepared to argue how Battle of Gods is superior. But for me, I'm on the fence because I think GT has too much hate in my opinion because people they give a pass to Battle of Gods, but they just give GT this crap, and I don't think it's fair.
Like I think with Goku in Battle of the Gods, when he got that power up, he was upset because he was thinking about all the times he's trained to get stronger, and then just did one thing where he did a ritual, taking other people's powers just to get a new form. And he's like,
Yeah, practically cheated, man.
that's what it feels like. He's like, I'm a cheater.
Yeah, because it does. I mean, Goku worked his butt off for his abilities, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, just hold your hands and Goku, blah. And also, one thing, kind of another side too, they never explained anything aside from like, to make the God transformation happen. All they said was hold hands, really, and it would kind of happen. So how are they determining who becomes God?
Exactly. That's what I thought. I thought you had to be like pure or something, but
Well, my thing is, it's like they're like, Vegeta's like Kakarot. Next time, we do the ritual, I want to be the guy who is Super Saiyan God. And I was just like, did they even explain how to choose? Like, I didn't know that there was an option.
no.
Is there a user's manual with this thing?
I guess it's of who's the strongest that becomes God.
Really? Because that's not a problem too. Vegeta 1089, that dude. His power level charts are. He tries his best to keep some sanity in the power levels. Like he has Mystic Gohan way beyond Vegeta, and like Angry Vegeta is still kind of below him, which I'm okay with. Because to be honest, by the time Battle God shows up, I wouldn't be comfortable with Goku like somehow surpassing Gohan when Gohan is like ridiculously stronger. I didn't like that. I didn't like how Gotenks would be weaker too, just because of the gap between them in those few years. I refuse to believe that gap was closed. I mean, it took him 7 years to get to just learning Super Saiyan 3. In 2 years, he beats Mystic Gohan. Nonsense. Complete nonsense. Base Gotenks was enough to match Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You do the multipliers. It's mind-boggling. Let me get some more messages here. Justin has some stuff to say. Let's see. He's got a good theory. Justin says the God Vessel is determined by the consent of the members. So basically, it's whomever they want. Right. I just am trying to figure out like how they consent, how they determine who does it. But I guess it's just a mental thing. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna get it. But I mean, if Gohan's got all that potential, why don't we just use that dude? But
Yeah.
I digress. I guess the experience goes to Goku. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. Vegeta's been fighting longer than Goku has, but whatever. I'm just being bitter about the whole thing. I heard some rumors about the new movie. Since I think we've established just about everything we needed to about 16 and the alternate future. Again,
Yeah.
optimistically, they still beat Boo because they prevent him from existing in the first place, or they get the Mystic power up. Even Cell Saga, levels. I think that if there was a Vegito with those, like Vegeta and Goku doing that kind of thing, would be enough to beat a potential Buhan, but I don't. I think that they would be further. I think that they would at least be Super Saiyan 2. So that's not too big of a deal. Um, and we are getting some comments tonight.
Getting really, really popular.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Um, so optimistically, they beat Boo, or they either beat Boo or they prevent Babidi from succeeding in unleashing Boo. But it seems like par for the course with Dragon Ball Z is if there's a bad guy, we're gonna let him be as powerful as possible before we fight him. So I don't know. It's like this it's like the silent agreed upon accord they wrote and like signed that no one talks about. How it's just like, all right, if there's a bad guy, let's let him become as strong as possible, and then we'll fight him.
I can totally see that.
Right? I've never seen a villain where it's just like, I can potentially become stronger. Huh. All right, well,
Okay.
I'm gonna kill you. So tough. It's always, oh man, I subconsciously let you become more powerful. So
Like, this isn't even my final form. I'm like, oh,
really? How can I help you? Always I look at it, but so the next movie I've heard some rumors. This is Wes told me this. I've looked around a little bit. I've not seen anything confirmed yet, but I've heard that this is speculative. I don't know if it's true or not. I think Wes was to give me a link sometime earlier today. I may have lost it, but from what I've heard, Vegeta and well, first off, this is confirmed. Vegeta and Goku are training under Whis. We see pictures of that, so that's not a surprise. Um, Frieza for the first time starts training. That
oh God.
Yeah, he trains. But again, it makes you wonder, what so? Like so far behind those guys, what is a little training gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, come on. I
And who is he
mean,
training under?
right? Is there actually a Super Saiyan Devil or whatever? Like we've been joking about for the past few months? Super Saiyan Legend Devil. Uh but okay. They talked about that. I heard that Krillin is a cop now, apparently.
A cop?
Yeah, that's what Wes told me. Again, this could all be nonsense, and it sounds sort of like it is, but if you think about it, Krillin, if he ends up like if he's somehow a if he somehow becomes a cop, that's actually a really good way to make money for these guys because bullets can't even hurt him.
He'll be the coolest cop ever.
Yeah, it was like this episode of the Flintstones I saw when I was when I was a kid. That they're like, I think Fred and Barney, they signed up for some like firemen's club or whatever in Bedrock, and it's just a way for them to just like do poker or something that the wives didn't want them to do, right? And the reason they were doing it was because there's no fires because all the houses are stone. And that comes to mind for Krillin being a cop because it's just like what kind of crime could remotely bother Krillin? What, biohazard stuff? Maybe that. Like, you got to really get really clever to think of any kind of law breaking that could potentially threaten Krillin. Or maybe he just wants to
Propaganda.
feel badass. After all the stuff he's been through, maybe he just wants to be a badass.
Yeah, get that old glory. Oh, maybe they'll bring launch back in.
Launch, yeah, launch Super Saiyan God launch. Why not? Super Saiyan God Vegeta Yamcha, and Super Saiyan God. All these other words. But anyways, digressing. If anyone has any comments, questions, feel free to message me on Facebook, comment on our posts, or post on our on YouTube. I'll read them and we can continue with the discussion with everybody else. If not, got myself and Tom here, and we'll be continuing on with this discussion of alternate realities, the multiverse theory with theory, because there is a multiverse in Dragon Ball Z. It's interestingly enough, it's not really built upon. Like they don't talk much about it except for, ironically enough, Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is non-canon, very, very non-canon. But I guess we could go into a bunch of different topics regarding this, and I think Dragon Ball Z was kind of ahead of its time if you think about the theories they were using. The multiverse theory was some heavy stuff, and ironically enough, a lot of physicists, theoretical physicists, they seem to agree upon that theory of time travel. They don't. It's kind of widely believed that time travel is actually not possible. Like treating time like a stream, and you're just swimming up the stream. It's more about going into another reality that is simply at an earlier point than yours is. So some things will slightly be different, and some things will slightly be close to ours. It reminds me of this guy named John Teeter. If you ever heard of John Teeter?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay. Yeah, the John Teeter guy. For those who aren't aware, it's this guy that was posting on some forums in 2000. He claimed to be a time traveler. There was a big fad of that back then, since the internet was still kind of new. Um, but the thing was, he was like predicting a lot of big things. Like he predicted CERN having the atom smasher and a couple other big things. And he also posted his manuals for time travel, and it used some science that was sort of arguable. I think it was a very, 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 very well put together hoax, but the science was really difficult to argue against, and I wasn't so much fascinated by the things that John Teeter prophesized. I was more fascinated by his commentary on things. Um, he talked about he was from a different timeline where there was a civil war, nuclear exchanges, a lot of heavy stuff. But he said that the further he had to go, this is the part. See, I'm rusty now, but now remembering, this is the crazy stuff. He had to go back in time, he claims, because after this nuclear war, the infrastructure of the United States and the world has been just fried. And in order to repair old Unix systems, which is like the foundation of old computers or computer networks and stuff like that, Unix is really, really basic stuff. It's like almost binary, like old, but it's the backbone of a lot of technology. So you know how like our viewers are starting to dwindle, but it's like, guys, it's cool. Just hang in there. It's just cool stuff, guys. So it goes. Anyways, there was this old IBM computer. It was a laptop, and he claims he had to go back in time to get a working model of it. Apparently, there was a side secret function of this laptop where it could program in Unix. Only about 5 people on the planet knew about this, the people that developed it. But he claimed his dad worked on it, his granddad worked on it. And after he said that was his mission, there are people in IBM going, "How did he know that?" Like that was the creepy stuff where he's like, "How did he know that?" And he's arguing the multiverse theory, that he's from a different universe that happened like 20 years in the future of 2000, where they had these. It was 2024, so it was 24 years in the future. And like the creepiest thing he said, it was like July of 2001, before he just disappeared, and he said he didn't remember. He said that a few things were different aside from the destruction, but he said there were 2 big buildings in the skyline of New York that were missing, and it was like at July of 2001. It just blew my mind.
I remember reading that a few years
So
ago.
crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hold on. Marlon's on. See if he wants to hop on.
Marlon!
Yeah. It was funny at the time. Prince kick, and I was listening to Purple Rain, and I was just really in just the tune and When Doves Cry, and so listening to those all the time, reading about John Titor. Now when I think of like 80s, kind of really post-apocalyptic like fiction and stuff about like time travel, I think of Purple Rain now. Like I just go back to the weird like the synths and all that. I can hear When Doves Cry, Little Red Corvette for some reason. I just listened to that a lot during that time. Like I was really into John Titor. And now if I hear that, it's just like I think to like Terminator, like this is the future kind of stuff. But anyways, Dragon Ball was really ahead of its time. Like it was
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it was like John Titor before John Titor. You know, it had some pretty heavy stuff. I liked when Trunks explained time travel in the Capsule Corp plane. That now older, I was like, man, he actually wasn't that wrong. That's awesome. Like he was actually not far off, if off at all. Trying to see if Marlon's joined. But anyways, I'm sure you realized what famous movie the Android Saga was taken from.
Yep.
Terminator. So much Terminator in there. Yeah, you gotta do it. But yeah, man, feel free to contribute. You know, I know I'm doing a lot of the chatting tonight, but yeah, it's definitely a two-way street.
Yeah, what about 17 and 18 being humans at first and becoming androids?
You know, they had names that were revealed recently by Akira. He said they were named Lapis and Lazul. I think that was the names. But they had human names. They were they were their brother and sister, and yeah, they were experimented upon. It kind of makes you wonder. Like I'm sure it was horrific what they had to go through, but
Was it voluntary?
no, they were kidnapped.
Oh,
And,
of course.
yeah,
It'd be
but
nonsense if it was voluntary.
yeah, uh, it makes you wonder. It's sort of like I always know this thing with Wolverine, where he's just like, oh my god, they turned me into a monster. Well, I mean, I know probably wasn't very comfortable, Logan, but
Did
they
we
totally
volunteer for that?
they totally outfitted your body with indestructible metal. That's kind of cool, dude. You know, I hate you for this. Why, man? They gave you an upgrade. That's like in Mega Man X when you get like the dash boots and all the other upgrades, and you like get angry at Doctor like, what? What do you mean? You've mutilated me, dude. I've made you like this awesome fighting machine. Just whatever, you know. I
Yeah,
always wondered that. Like with 18, you know, she's never gonna age. Like that's
no.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure Krillin doesn't. You know, he doesn't hate that.
He doesn't mind. No.
I don't think he minds. He struck out there, man. Like it. You get the wife that never gets old. Like that for him, it's just like man. And plus, it's not like anyone's gonna bully him around.
Oh yeah. Well, she had like a thing for him early on because you looked at him and like, hey, hold on a second. Why are you looking at him like that? You got a thing for bald ones?
Or it's like yeah, like short guys and stuff. I don't know. Maybe she has like who knows? And I mean, even Kira said in an interview, he was like, I don't do romance very well, and because they were trying to ask like, how those two got together, and he's like,
I don't know.
I just
Off screen.
you gotta pair them together somehow. But I was always you know that romance it because it's so implausible is why it actually works. I guess I've said everything I needed to say about this topic. Anything you wanted to bring up now at this point?
Let's see. I've always wondered, like, if 16 were to kill Imperfect Cell, and then we get after the Boo Saga, where does it leave Battle of the Gods? Do they still make that or no?
We touched upon that. We brought up that to do the god ritual, it's kind of a moot point.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
right.
you could do the terrible thing, so it could still be done. Um,
But it would just be like a different way.
you would just be using Tarble. I mean,
Yeah.
the movie just completely forgot about the Dragon Ball thing. And I know that with the Dragon Balls, they could get Tarble to show up because I know Vegeta's like, oh yeah, he's off on some distant planet. Oh, whatever. Yeah, just grab him, okay? Like you can do that. So that'll be fine. But at this point, I think we've said everything you need to say in this episode. A big thanks to to our buddy for suggesting this one. It was an interesting topic. I'm gonna try
Very
to do a little.
interesting topic.
I'm gonna try to go over some more in the future about other what ifs, other alternate realities. A lot of it always comes down to how you're. Like, there's always a way to accomplish these. Yeah, it's always a way to accomplish these tasks. When a villain shows up, there's always a way to do it. Especially when it's Boo. You know, the later in the series, the more the series went on, the more the series started to show ways to cheat around working and like building your power up, like the Gold Kai ability, the God transformation, fusion to a degree. They always seem to show ways that you don't have to really work as hard. So the later stuff I'm not too worried about because they presented like a number of different ways to cheat.
But it was plausible though.
Yeah. So at this point, if you guys have any more questions, comments, I think we're just about on the way out. We got another comment here from Justin. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. He says, "Everyone has heart." Let's see. He says, here's a quote. Final thoughts. He says, "Everyone has heart. If you love something and care for it, it'll be part of you. This works for anything, even the cards in your deck. Cherish every single one of them." He's using some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
They cherish every single one of them because they hold a part of you. Learn from this and grow to the very best you can in what you love. Because something with your heart in it is more special than diamonds, gold, or silver. That when I read the bottom, I was like, gold and silver. We're talking about Pokemon. All right. Yeah, but yeah, it was it's one series I cannot get into. He said Solomon. Those the words from Solomuto to Sokaiba. I'm not sure if you wanted me to share that on the air or not, but yeah. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. And next time we're gonna have a lot of these episodes. We're gonna probably plan out a little more. This is just I wanted to get around to this topic, and tonight I was like, I got some time. So hopefully we covered what would happen. We covered the potential outcome of the next few sagas. It'd also be kind of nice having 16 around. Or would he want to try to kill or if he tried to kill Goku? But again, if he tried to kill Goku, I don't think it'd work because by the time he made it to Kami's Lookout, Vegeta would be standing in his way, and I don't think he'd want Kakarot to get killed by this android. He'd waste him if that happened.
Like if there's anyone that's gonna kill Goku, it's gonna be him. Like, whoa, but you're not gonna kill Goku. It's gonna be me.
Right. So I mean, 16's gonna get wrecked. It wouldn't be. It would actually be funny. That'd be the second android in one day that he would have destroyed that tried to kill Goku.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
It would have been the second one. I was playing a mission of Dragon Ball. Was it Tenkaichi Tag Team or Tenkaichi Tag Team? Where 20 and 19 got revenge on 18 and 17, and you play as 20. And it was just like, this can't happen. You guys would have wrecked in one blow. But whatever. I'll humor this storyline. There's a lot of that going on. Baytek. That's how you say his last name. Baytek. Got it. So like Michael Baytek. Got it. Cool. Just Mr. Actions.
Name of Michael Baytek from now on.
Well, no. If we say that, then like the moment his name is brought up, you just hear explosions everywhere. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah. It's Justin. Shaky cam. But anyways, yeah, let's go into some more topics a little bit later. Tomorrow I might do another one. Next upcoming topics, I'm going to try to touch upon some more heavily debated ones. This was a lot of conjecture, so as a result I couldn't talk quite as much, but who am I to talk? We're already pushing an hour. That's pretty sizable. For me, I just don't feel like... We're 41 minutes now. Okay. Hey, our old, hey, we just got one of our old guys, our buddies back in here, actually. Mr. Mias, or Mias. That guy was one of our older videos. Yeah, he missed 37 minutes of it. So I guess, if you're still tuning in, buddy, we'll recap real quick. We think that optimistically, they could accomplish defeating every major villain that showed up due to the fact that the real opponents they had coming up were Boo, and with Boo, there's a number of ways to surpass. First off, if Boo is released. If Boo is released, then you can beat him either by the Elder Kai Unlock ability or fusing, because fusion, Vegito at that point, base Vegito in the anime, arguably was stronger than Buhan. Imagine if he went up against, Super Boo base is Vegito, or Gogeta for that matter. Yeah, so and on top of it, you had 7 years of training, so for all we know, they could have gotten stronger. And more importantly, if you defeat Deborah, you could defeat Babidi. And there goes the Boo problem. Just get rid of Babidi. So again, in summation, that's what would happen. And then when Battle of God shows up, all they got to do, if Videl is not a thing, because again, Hercule won't have the success that he had since Cell, was quote unquote defeated by him. So the Videl might not be a factor. Who knows? Or maybe Gohan found somebody else and has a different Pan with somebody else. I don't know. But if Pan is no longer a factor, you still got Tarble. Tarble is quite there. So again, I think it could work out, be a little different. And again, if 16 happens to want to take out Goku, which I doubt he would, because you can tell he's not that kind of character. Yeah. If he did for some reason, Vegeta would stand. Just one impulse. Vegeta would wipe him out, and then Goku would take the time to train, and then that would be too much. We're still getting some messages. All right, cool. I think Justin is amused with our new name. But yeah. All right, guys. That's a pretty good topic for tonight. I think for my next few episodes, message me, leave some comments if you want me to cover any more topics, any new theories, stuff like that. One of my ideas, I'll throw the ones out that I've been thinking about. First off, maybe a retrospective on some old games. I'm thinking some Final Bout. Might do like a stream of that one. Maybe a Let's Play or review of Final Bout. Like sort of like a nostalgia critic kind of thing. What I mean by that is I loved the game when I was younger, but now when I got older, I'm gonna see, because if you guys have seen the channel, I'm a pretty big fighting game aficionado at this point. I actually know what a good and bad fighting game is now. I'm not tinted by the glasses of holy crap, I love DBZ, so anything's good, that kind of mentality, which I was kind of in back then. So I'll be reviewing the game. I might be doing that. I might be going over Kid Buu versus Super Buu, who's the strongest Buu. Get a guest in there for that one. The highly discussed Superman Goku debate. Might bring that one up. And at that point, there's other ones I might do, like, who deserved to destroy Buu? Was it Gohan or was it Goku? So those are the two big ones, or two big ones. Those are the big ones I have in mind at the moment. If you guys feel that those ones are better or worse, chime in, let me know, and hope you have a good night. And thanks for tuning in, guys. And I think Thomas might be muted. See if I can unmute him. Hey Thomas, you there? Yeah, unfortunately he has accidentally, I think, muted himself or whatever. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for joining me, Thomas. And I'm sure we'll be having more of these debates sometime in the near future. And you still there, Thomas?
Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
Like the Zentu translations. That's gonna be up for a good debate, right?
Oh yeah. What's right and wrong in the Zenchu? Yeah, guys. The Zenchu actually has mistakes. That's another one too.
Yeah. Be sure to point those out for us in case we miss something.
Oh wait.
Like for debate in the future.
Okay. Is there something like rustling over there?
No. That's the springs in my bed. My bed makes a lot of noise.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was wondering what it was for a second. All right, yeah, man. Let's have another one of these soon, and I look forward to seeing you throw it down against Wes come the 13th. I think it's the 13th. Whatever date it is. Let me double check. Actually, I don't want to have the wrong date on our show. Here we are. What's the date? Yep, January 13th. Yep, the big 13th show, GT versus Battle of Gods. So tune in. Tomorrow I'll have another episode most likely, and if I do, I hope to hear from you guys. Again, suggest any new ideas, all that good junk. And, alright. Night, guys.
Later.